welcome to Damage Discuss D&D. Hello, we're back with Helloran Rising. Last time, well, why don't we let Celeste tell us all about last time, please?
Dearest Ella, things have taken an unexpected turn as of late, which I know is saying something given the adventures I have often found myself partaking in with my eclectic band of friends. In our quest to end the war between the dragons and dwarves, it was not completely unexpected to find myself in the dwarven capital of Daghold to declare our intentions to its citizens. It seems that while Gus and Yorick have been away, the Dwarven Council has been corrupted by a demon in disguise and a heretical priest. Other members were drugged or simply removed from their post by their nefarious associates in an attempt to seize control. A trial was held in the centre of the city so that the dwarves could be fairly judged by their peers. And though Yorick had originally hoped that Reorx, in all his glory, would save or doom them, Reorx instead decreed that his kin should be the ones to decide on their fates. However, he stands fully behind Yorick's words and deeds, and clarifies to his faithful followers that they should be more open-minded to outsiders and to put an end to the war with the dragons. Whilst many of the dwarves were content with Reorx's declaration, I did make a note of several so-called priests of Reorx looking rather concerned with the events taking place. I later shared this information with Yorick, though he was later preoccupied by the celebrations, and Florian said that we could keep a close eye and be wary of any acts of retribution that may occur. Thrinnen, who had been drugged by Baedlin, was cleared and deemed worthy to remain on the council. Varand accepted his culpability and in penance declared he would remove his...
Oh, what happened there?
Oh, lost you, Natalie.
We lost you.
You cut out there.
Oh, where did I cut out?
Yep.
As you
remove
were telling
his
us
beard.
about
He would remove his beard.
And in penance declared he would remove his beard, an act that I've come to see as being deeply shameful to the dwarves, and exile himself. Whilst the dwarves agreed that he should shave off his beard, he was told to live with his regrets in Daghold, where it would be most effective. Baedlin endeavoured to sway the dwarves to his side by appealing to their greed. However, the great dragon Delamar, in dwarven disguise, came to our aid, bringing proof of the exploitation, torture, and corruption of their young. Baedlin was then sentenced to death by the crowd. He then discarded his disguise and changed his form into that of one abhorrent demonic creature, similar to the ones that have stalked our group before. The demon was immediately annihilated before us, with the combined strength of Florian, Yorick, and Reorx's own champion Trellador, dissolving the creature before us in a sea of radiant light. Rather unsurprisingly, it was the threat from Reorx that he would turn all the dwarven beer into water that instilled the greatest fear into the dwarves, displaying his seriousness in his decree to end the war with the dragons. Then the celebrations began.
Thank you, Celeste. So, as outlined, there has been much drinking and feasting and telling of tall tales. Looking at you, Gus, Yorick. And as the evening winds down, unless there's anything anybody wants to do, you all find yourself back at the Scalebane Manse, where rooms are made available and you can rest easy.
I would not return to the Galbane house. I would remain with Dell in the chamber,
Fair enough.
guarding the doorway.
Okay. Righty-ho.
sleeping doorstop.
Basically, yeah. He's
Fair
a friends is going to be a dirty great doorstop, but he's bought his little picnic down. And he's sort of like laid it out with a keg, one of those little small 4 kegs on either side. So as and when Dell wants to come and get some food, she can do. But friends would basically be like a big ass doorstop because he doesn't quite trust that people won't come snooping.
Okay. Right. So, anybody else want to do anything, or is it just a?
I'll just stagger drunk into my childhood bedroom, have a big grin on my face because it feels home, and just pass out on the bed.
Yeah. Yorick, you've already obviously.
I'm sure we'd have like drunkenly staggered, arm over each shoulder, just back home, singing dwarven songs as we make our way back together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a refresh, DM. Whereabouts is a Scalebane residence to the temple?
To the temple, it's about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes.
Okay, yeah. I
Depending
probably
on how
wouldn't-
much you've drunk. Obviously, if you're a lot more drunk, it's a lot longer because you have to walk 3 times as far.
That is drunk math. Yeah, so I wouldn't go back straight away.
Okay.
I would let it calm down a bit, and I'd find somewhere just out of the way where I can kind of like try and hide, keep an eye on the temple, and see if any of these priests come back this way with people being
Okay.
passed out drunk and not there.
Okay. Make a stealth check for me.
Yes. I have made one. Do I have to tell you the number?
You do have to tell me the number, unfortunately.
8.
8. Okay.
That was a good one.
Standing where you think there's a sort of pool of shadows there, you sort of stand next to it. That's where you can keep an eye on the temple door. And basically, every couple of minutes, every sort of 10, 15 minutes, a dwarf wanders by, and you realise that the doorway that you're adjacent to is a public convenience. So there's dwarves in and out, and every one of them goes, "Oi!" as they pass by.
Why is it always my characters what try and do something? And
I don't know.
see, that's now going to become a thing. James is going to create something now of somebody standing in a doorway right next to a pub.
It's just going to be you.
It's a public
lurking
convenience.
outside
It's the
toilet.
toilets.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
this is the second time in a row where Florian's tried to do subtle, sneaky things and has found himself at a toilet.
Have you located a stash of aftershaves and are you trying to sell them to people in the toilets?
No.
It's like,
Okay.
yeah, I'll go have a look at this.
Well, okay. Well, I would definitely move.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, I'll say that you move to a sort of less. It's a more
Public
visible
place.
spot, but it's not,
Yes.
it's not as frequented by people. So you spot.
Yeah.
Sort of have a sort of quiet, out of the way corner. You're not particularly hidden, but you can observe the temple.
Yeah, I'd probably kind of just like stay there for an extra couple of hours or something.
Okay.
Just
Sure.
and depending on what happens, basically.
Yeah. Make me a perception check. We'll say this covers the next couple of hours.
I'm definitely going to use a different die here.
Okay.
Brilliant. Natural 19 for 22. So a hell of a lot better.
Okay. As you sit and you observe the temple, and you can see some of the occupants of the temple, the priests, sort of going about the business of not closing, but sort of making the temple ready for night. So other doors will be closed, and the temple doors themselves stay open. But the fires are sort of dampened down a bit. The forges are still bright, but everything sort of gets quiet, and you see a lot of them leave.
Mhm.
But you don't see anybody come back in the time that you're there. So,
Okay. Yeah.
is there anybody else want to do anything at all before we get to sleepy time? No? Okay.
No, I'd obviously head back after that then. And
So you head back, you find there's a couple of scalebanes sort of hanging about. Sort of, it tends to be sort of the Dwarven Society is a sort of sprawling family residences. So Yorick would live here with his parents and grandparents. Everybody kind of, and Gus's parents and grandparents, and everything. It's kind of a huge sort of sprawling underground mansion, basically, like a little rabbit warren of rooms. But somebody shows you to a room where you
Yeah.
can get some sleep. So as you take rest for the evening, a lot of you fall. It's been quite a long day, so a lot of you are fairly tired. We'll start with Trelador. So you sleep.
I think just before I sleep, I'll be stroking the beard.
Yeah, indeed. And as you sort of stroke the beard and fall back asleep into a calm, contented, almost, it's probably the best night's sleep you've had for a very long time. There are no dreams, there are no interruptions. Everything is beautifully calm as you sort of drift in the. It's weird. Just the safety of Dagholt seems to create this ambience for you of calmness, and just a sort of. It's that divine feel, that divine radiance that Reorx gives, that sort of chat, sort of comforting, sort of lad behaviour, if you know what I mean. You know, everything's a bit of a laugh, but it's all going to be okay. Melissa, you also have a lovely, restful night.
Surprising.
And you can hear in your head that last conversation you had with Remora over and over, and her calming voice sends you drifting off into a beautiful night's sleep. However, not everybody sleeps well. Ferenz, you are sleeping, dreaming, when you are suddenly transported back to the island. And there are scenes that you've not seen before. There's lots of people awake and lots of, not panic, but excitement. And it looks as though some buildings have fallen. There's been some sort of earthquake or something, maybe?
Yeah.
And then your vision sort of looks up to the mountain at the centre of the island. And the mountain has moved as the trees and shrubs that were on this mountain have all sort of slid off into the sea. And you can see a glittering crystal wing where that mountain once was. And as you see the wing just raise up and down again as a shoulder appears out of the ground, you can see this sort of ring of radiance just sort of like a shockwave, just there's a sort of deep bell tone sound that
Yeah.
as this shockwave goes out from the island. It seems to go on forever and ever. You don't see it, just disappears over the horizon, and you get a sense that Cheyenne is waking and moving. And he's trying desperately not to hurt the denizens of the island, your family and others. So he's doing it very slowly, so that they've time to get out of the way. And you feel excitement and the promise of something incredible happening as you slowly drift back from that dream into a peaceful night's sleep.
Yeah, so as that happens for him, there'd just be that resonance of the words shine, shine,
Yep.
rise and shine.
And you can feel that circle of sound or whatever it is, it hasn't reached you yet, but it's coming. It's a sort of shockwave that's going around the world. Gus, Yorick, drunk, snoring, possibly in the same room because, you know, you're used to doing that growing up.
It wouldn't surprise me if we actually shared a room. Anyway.
I mean, if that's what happened in the Scalebane house, then that's what happened. You know, I'm happy for you to tell me what the sleeping arrangements are in your house.
I mean, as we grew up like brothers, I think sharing a room probably wouldn't be a surprise.
I'm on the top bunk.
Obviously.
Just don't wet yourself.
Yeah. So you two have a fantastic night's sleep. Miette, you also, weirdly, it's underground. It's a bit, you're not used to this whole being so far underground and so enclosed, but it doesn't feel claustrophobic. It feels safe, warm, and comforting to be this far underground for some reason. It doesn't feel like you're trapped. It feels like you're in a safe spot. You've curled up to go to sleep in a safe, comfy spot. You have a wonderful night's sleep. Celeste, you too, unaccustomed to being underground like this, surprisingly fall asleep very quickly and have a wonderful night's sleep. Florian, however, you do not have a good night's sleep. Your vision goes out north to the Firelands, this place of dust and gouts of flame. Your vision is drawn in to this strange looking building where there are huge snakes roaming the outside, and as you look closer there are tiny figures on top of these snakes riding around in the desert. Into the building further there are more of these figures. You see one in an elaborate headdress chanting in a strange, almost draconic language, but not quite. And you see Dakota laying flat on a sort of, it looks like marble slab, tied down. Is she asleep? Is she dead? It's very difficult to tell in this dream. But then she wakes and you look directly into her face and she screams your name to come and get her. You see the memory of the burning pain in your chest that you no longer have because Trelador took it from you. Pulses, your chest pulses with that pain. And then you step back as Dakota looks at you. Do you want to say anything to her?
I do. Bear with me, just making notes.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's times these days I kept college notes and like, 4 or 5 A4 pages in an hour. And then you'd go to next classroom and do it again. These days you try to write 2 sentences in a notebook during a meeting and work and your hand cramps.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Up and down
so-
there. The dog's deciding it wants to go out all the time, and it's piddling down with rain, so I have to keep on getting up and drying her.
Yeah, that's fair. No problem.
So before I say anything, you said the chanting language sounded like draconic.
It sounds vaguely draconic, yeah.
So I don't understand any of it, even though I understand common and infernal, knowing of where she is and who she's with.
Well, you do, if you do understand Infernal, you do get some words in Infernal, but it's like almost gibberish mixed in with this draconic. words like mistress and blood rights, fire. It's just
Okay.
those sorts of words all over and over again, mixed in with different draconic words.
Yeah.
This creature is not. It looks dragon-ish. The features, the face of it is a bit dragony. It has scales, but it's too small to be dragonborn. It's far too small to be a dragon. And
none of these figures look familiar. None of them look like they could be Fiona or.
oh, absolutely not. These things
Yeah.
are, I don't know, 2-3 feet tall.
Okay. Similar to the things what create that massive monster when we came out of the hills?
The little fire imps? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, not similar to those at all.
Yeah. Okay. So, in response to Dakota shouting out my name, my chest's still in pain
Yes.
with this pulsing thing.
Well, it's not that it's in pain, it's the memory of that pain.
Yeah, no,
If you know.
yeah, completely. Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, how? Where?
I don't know. You need to come. You need to get me out of here.
I've been told it's not safe to do that, though.
Yeah, but Mama said you should come.
Mum's there with you?
Yeah.
Does this seem like it is Dakota speaking to me?
Make an insight check.
You knew it was going to come, Chad.
Of course.
You knew it.
Of course. I was waiting for it.
22.
22. This, even though this is a dream, this does seem to be Dakota. Absolutely. I mean, you, with that sort of twin connection that you have, it's definitely not somebody impersonating her. It would be far too easy for you to tell.
Yeah. Why is she there?
I don't.
Is what's going on here real? Is this happening to you now?
Yeah. This is. Oh, and you suddenly see another face sort of swim into your view as Dakota fades, and the background of this chanting fades, and you see the face of your mother, Rebecca. So, Florian, you have to get your sister out of here. Please,
This is too
Florian.
much, Chaz.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Okay. I'll try my best to find where you are. I think you're some distance away from us. Is Fiona there with you?
No, she's not here. It's just these. I think they're called kobolds. They are little tiny things. The one in charge is Krangor. She sort of, your view shifts again in that sort of weird dreamlike way as the name is spoken across to this creature in this wild headdress, chanting with her arms outstretched. That is sort of altar in front of where Dakota is chained down.
I know we were young, but do I know my mother of having any kind of powers? Any powers where, like, this could be so? To tell me this isn't a dream, this is like their way of, I'm asleep, so somehow a connection has been made to have this conversation without prying eyes.
How old were you when they left?
Ooh. Let's take a quick break, people, and look at backstory.
Because I did look through your backstory and didn't see an age.
Um,
I may have missed it, of course.
12.
12. I mean, you were 12. I mean, you're not sure why they had to go,
hmm
but your father kept telling you that it was important and your mother would look after Dakota and they'd be back when it was safe. So you don't really know
Yeah.
if she had power, but knowing what you know about the world and the people you're travelling with, you suspect that she probably does.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mum, Dakota. I'll try and find you. I'll try and get to you
Hurry,
as quickly as
Florian,
possible.
hurry. And you wake up, and the last thing you
Yeah.
see is the fire wastes with these gouts of flame flying up in the air, and the dust and the ash. And you wake up drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
Now, were you sharing a room with anybody? Or, I mean, it's perfectly possible to have your own room, but you could have shared with somebody if you wanted.
I hadn't thought about it, and to be honest with you, when you said that you were shown to a room, I envisaged that it was just a singular
One
room.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
No problem. So you
If
wake
I
up.
were to say someone was in there, I think it would just be misleading the story down
Okay,
a different.
all right, fair enough. So you wake up, drenched in sweat, panting. You're so hot that it's unbearably hot, and you look around this unfamiliar room, and you hear these echoes, reverberations, and then you realise you've heard this before. It's coming for you. It's Gus and Yorick snoring.
Yeah.
Echoing down the hallways.
Yeah.
So,
I would have taken off my very little clothes what I have because I don't wear armor or anything. First thing I'll do is open up my shirt and check my chest.
I mean, the scarring is still there, as always. It doesn't hurt. It's not bleeding. So it looks as it always has.
Yeah, I'll do that. I've woken up and this is the middle of the night, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. I've woken up in the middle of the night. Obviously hot. I will, quiet as I can, get like a glass of water.
Sure.
And also, if I know or see Trellador along the way.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
14.
14. Actually, Trellador, you can tell me, did you leave the door to your room open?
No.
No. Okay.
I probably would have wanted a bit of privacy for the change.
Okay. So, you do not see...
You want to wank in peace. We get it.
Yeah. There's a sock on the door.
You do not see Trellador anywhere, but there are many doors here. So, one of them is where Gus and Yorick are, because the noise coming out of there is astonishingly loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see... I don't know if anybody's left their door open. No?
No, probably
I
not.
am the door.
Yes. Yeah, so there are closed doors all over the place. You don't really know who is where because you came into the building later after everybody had gone to bed. So,
Yeah.
kind of
Being an elf, I'd be up first anyway because I only require 4 hours of meditation.
Sure, you can be up and about if you wish. Where do you want to be?
Probably just sort of some kind of sitting room, I guess.
Sure.
Maybe reading a book.
Okay, there is one room you see with a light on.
Okay.
If you poke your head round, you'll be able to see Celeste.
How do I feel? Do I still feel hot? Do I still feel
really hot? Really hot, as if you've been in a sauna or somewhere, standing by the forge for a few hours.
Yeah.
Your body is
I would.
still cooling.
I'd poke my head round the door. Obviously, see Celeste reading.
Based on your stealth roll from earlier, I probably know you're there.
That was earlier though. Nothing to do with that.
What's your passive perception, Celeste?
23.
You know. Yeah. As you see, Florian poke his head through the door.
Oh.
Sweating
Anything wrong?
profusely.
Quite a bit, actually, I think.
Would you like to talk about it?
Very.
You look a little flushed.
Yeah, how do I feel to you? Do I feel hot? And we'll just kind of put my forehead.
He's roasting hot. So hot. You've never felt a human or any other kind of being this hot and still alive. It almost burns to the touch.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you've been sleeping in the mouth of a dragon.
Maybe having dreams in the fire wastes, seeing my sister and, for the first time in around about a decade, my mother, asking pretty profusely for help.
Sit down. Let me see if I can cool you down, and then you can tell me all about it, okay? And I'll reach in my pack for some kind of cloth or something that I can dampen, and then put my frostbite spell on to make it nice and cold, so he can have it as like a compress for his head.
Yeah, okay.
And then just keep reapplying it to it as it gets warmer. Try and cool him down as quickly as I can.
Thank you, Celeste. Before I get into it, it's fine. It's still scarred up, but my chest, also in the dream vision, was, well, it was like I had it back. It was really painful.
May I?
Yeah, but there's nothing.
Well, magical. I'm not that I'm an expert, but I imagine a scar such as this, which is magically bound, would leave some traces, even if it no longer remains. So, if I could at least examine it, maybe I can. Well, I doubt at this point there's anything I can do, but it won't hurt to look.
No, I think we've tried everything before, but definitely have another go. It was a bit weird. It's like I never knew my mother to have powers, but everything we've been through and why her and my sister left. Again, I don't know why, but I would assume that she did have powers, and it was possibly her trying to make this connection with me. But somehow them being in the fire wastes and surrounded, she said, by these creatures called kobolds. And Fiona wasn't there. It's almost like it was their plea that it's going to be hard, but not as hard as if there was a demon there.
Assume I wouldn't know anything about kobolds.
I mean, you could do a nature check if you like.
Can I do a history check?
Of course you
I know nothing about kobolds. I've never even heard the word before.
Yep, not a clue.
Yeah. I'm loving some of my rolls at the minute, so that is 22 again.
Oh, right, okay. Do you remember one of the books, one of the many, many books that you've read? You remember a race called kobolds. Small, draconic, more of a footnote really than an actual entry into a list of creatures. They are intelligent-ish, some of them. They tend to be quite vicious. They tend to serve dragons. And they like to live underground in hot places.
Yep. And I would assume, obviously, they tend to serve dragons, but hearing some in draconic and some in infernal, that they are
I mean, that's,
potentially aligned with.
given the circumstances of your vision or dream or whatever it was, you would make that link and suggest that somehow these have been corrupted into the service of a devil of some kind.
Yeah. I'll pass that on to Celeste with my camera being really blurry. All of that, and it still is.
Yep,
Fuck you
that
then.
made no difference.
No. Yeah, and I'll pass all of that on of what I know about them. The assumed link I've made as well. And yeah, I'll just let her have a look over this scar over my chest.
Okay. What are you looking for, Celeste? Do you want to do? Are you looking magically? So Arcana check, or are you doing medicine check? What? Explain to me what you want to try and find out.
So first of all, I just want to sort of give it a purely medicinal look.
Okay.
Sort of see if anything has changed from the last time I inspected
Sure.
his chest. Any markings, or if it's burning up in there or anything like that.
Okay.
Anywhere that sort of I can see if there's like any remains of the scar there, sort of like where the skin might be a bit darker or anything like that. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
And then I kind of want to give it a magical look over
Okay.
after
Well,
that.
let's do a medicine check first.
Can I assist her in the medicine check? I am proficient in it, just so I can be like.
You can have advantage.
I can point out obviously where the pain was when I had it, the pain in this dream / vision, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And just kind of like trace it if there's anything missing with her hand.
26.
And you can point at the things to ignore, like your third nipple and whatnot.
I feel like this is a game of operation. He's just handed me some tweezers.
So the scar is still there as it was last time that you looked. It doesn't look angry like it did when it was before it was moved to Trelador. The wound has literally closed and scarred as you would expect a wound to do. It doesn't seem to be anything new or anything extra, and it's no hot. It's a little hotter than his surrounding skin, but you suspect that's because it's scar tissue, and it's losing its heat less rapidly than the normal flesh, because obviously the sweat glands have been burnt away. Well, not burnt away, but yeah,
Damaged.
yeah. And if you want to do an Arcana check to detect, see if there's anything magical or strange about it.
Non-natural 20.
Nice. Yeah, it's the same as it was before. There is the trace of that infernal magic that's fading. It's a lot less than it was last time you looked this way. It just appears to be a normal scar now.
Well, from what I can tell, it just seems to be as normal a scar as... It's almost as if you never had that link in the first place. It's just what would have been left over had it have been able to heal. But I imagine what's linking you is your connection with your twin, and the pain that you're feeling is more because your twin is in pain rather than your scar, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. I don't suppose, like we've tried before, can you like detect any magic coming from me? You know, like you tried to find those wisps beforehand and that, just to see if there's a different kind from this, if it wasn't a dream, and it was a spell my mother was doing?
When I looked over it, I could sense no infernal magic lingering from it. As far as I can see, it's just a scar now.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the look over in the chat. I'll have to let the group know in the morning, but I think I'm going to need some rest, or as much as I can get before tomorrow.
Has he cooled down any
Yeah.
from
yeah,
my administrations?
The frostbite spell, and combined with the application of water, has cooled Florian rapidly. He's approaching a more normal body temperature now.
If you see anything else, please let me know.
Yeah, I'll probably just take this cushion and sleep in here with you, and if you're going to be awake, just in case.
Officially, I don't actually sleep. I just meditate.
Right, but well, as you're up and you can keep a closer eye, I'll do it here. Yeah, I'll just get back to my roots and crash out on the ground.
Fair enough. Whilst this is occurring, Trelador, you awake, refreshed. Still dark. Nobody's turned any lights on. But you have the benefits of your long rest. You sit up on the bed, as you do. Your viewpoint has shifted once more. You are no longer looking at things at dwarven height. You are taller again. You feel more lithe, less bulky.
Just do a quick check of myself to see whether I'm completely back to normal and whether anything has improved. Like, have I got stronger?
How are you going to test whether you've got stronger?
I'll just flex a bit and, just...
You flex and it feels strange, but somehow comforting to be back in your longer-limbed body. As you sort of reach for your axe and sort of twirl that and do some manoeuvres. Yeah, it feels good. Your reach is better. You just feel better overall. You check your hair is back to normal. Your beard is still long, but not. It's more silky fine rather than bushier like a dwarf's.
Yeah,
This is weird. You never had a beard as an elf, but you have one now. Maybe it's just some sort of hangover from the change, and it'll just go once you shave it or something.
Okay.
Definitely a dwelf.
But yeah, you've had your 4 hours sleep, and you're fine.
No. I've just changed my character sheet back.
Okay.
Do I don't speak Dwarvish anymore, yeah?
Yes, you do.
Ooh.
Another hangover, perhaps. Perhaps you'll forget it in time if you try hard enough.
In fairness, you'd be a piss poor champion of Yorks if you couldn't speak to your own god.
Yep.
I couldn't before.
Now, York's hanging up on you is completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just make myself look prim and proper.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll just wait and see what happens. I'm not gonna go and announce myself. I'm just gonna see if anyone notices.
Okay. So, unless there's anything anybody else would like to do before they wake, you can all awaken and have a long rest. Mark off that long rest for yourselves.
I don't want to push it because obviously I had the rougher night, but I probably would sleep in a little bit, even though I am quite an early bird myself. But if I can't make the time up, it's fine. I will take the exhaustion.
No, you all get a long rest, including you.
Yeah, the maximum HP change that I wasn't aware about.
Do we? I take it we lose our immunities to poison and
You
frighten
do,
now.
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Not all of us do, they? So
Yeah. Dale would probably hear a slight sort of like stir from friends, be like, "That's so right, yes, man," and then all of a sudden his accent had changed back into the one that everybody's used to, and he'd be like, "Oh, rise and shine." Oh my, that was quite the experience.
She is in her dragon form, with still this green miasma coating the room. You feel tingly where it touches you sometimes. And she just opens one eye, looks at you, and in your head you hear, "Good morning."
It's a very good morning, I think.
She sort of looks at you, a little bit
Well,
puzzled.
The information that you shared with me about the possible name of the crystal drake, I may have started in waking up.
Oh. I see.
This is all in my head. And I'll sort of try and envision what I saw in my dream as much as I can and recall, and sort of try to show her what happened.
Okay. She looks at you for a moment quizzically, and then, "Oh, right, so, interesting." And then you see that weirdly coming through the wall, that sort of crystalline wave that you saw in your dream just passes over her and you.
Does it resonate with the staff at all?
Yeah, the staff sort of almost expands to 3 or 4 times its size and then goes back down to normal. And you feel make an insight check for me.
Kind of glad I've got 17.
17. It feels urgent. You don't understand what's happening, but there's that initial rush of crystal magic that you felt before, and then there's an urgency to this. And as it passes through you and beyond. But Dell snaps, both of her eyes snap open. And she turns immediately into dwarven form. Right! What we need to do is I need to go and talk to some dwarves. Some important ones.
Do you want me to stay here and...
No, it's okay. They'll be fine. And you can see that the sort of green mist is sort of got this little pockets of crystalline energy just sort of bubbling around in like a sort of strange stew.
Yeah.
These sort of crystal.
Friends is quite a sort of happy-go-lucky, bubbly person anyway, but there's a sort of an additional layer to that now.
Mm-hmm.
There's sort of like a barely kept in check excitement.
Yeah.
Because he's been waiting for this, he's heard rumours that it might happen his entire life. his people's histories are full of it might happen.
Yep, and it appears to be happening.
Yeah.
So, Jesus. Right, let's go. You want to come with?
Yeah, of
Right.
course. I'm at your service.
So she starts to move out of the cavern up into the main streets and heading for the temple, where all the action was last night.
Yeah.
So, everybody is awake. What would you like to do?
Oh, go down for a very hearty breakfast.
Absolutely. There are plenty of people in this huge sort of kitchen with a massive table in the middle of it. There are roughly about 12, 15 dwarves all eating, joking. Some breakfast beer is served, obviously. It's breakfast. When else would you serve it?
Anytime.
Well, it's breakfast. It's breakfast beer. So,
And then we've got afternoon teas, beers and lunch beers and brunch beers and
you've got
Second
beer for
brunch
every
beers.
occasion.
Second breakfast beers.
It's like 10 different taps for different types of beer. They all come from the same keg.
I mean, they don't, but I like the idea. So, in the kitchen, you see there are various Scalebane cousins and uncles and bits and pieces. And we have,
Of course, before I left the bedroom, I'd have given Yorick a kick as well, just to wake him up.
I thought you were going to say you give Yorick a kiss then.
That's what I thought you said as well.
That too.
Morning, Yorick.
It's more a mutual beard waggle.
There'd have been some obligatory. Oh, I love you, mate. Last night.
yeah. So yeah, everybody sort of convenes in the kitchen. Sybil is there, sitting at the head of the table with her breakfast beer and munching on breakfast food. Morning, boys. You right?
Morning, ma'am.
Right.
Morning.
Okay. See, has everybody else gathered into the kitchen? Anybody not gathered
Yeah,
in the kitchen apart from Franz?
I would just walk in and not say anything.
Yeah, I would be in there. I think I'd probably notice straight away of
Yeah, I mean,
Chelador's.
Celador is back to his elven form.
I think the only one that might not notice would be Gus.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I'd be head down in my breakfast.
Very
I
It's a
am.
magnificent beard.
I like the addition, Chelador. Suits you.
Thank you. It wasn't for me, being a dwarf.
Hey. What
Celador.
happened?
My reasons are private, but it's not me. I wasn't a dwarf. It was fun pretending to be one, I guess. It gave me insights into why Gus is like he is. And we'll just put it down to some life experience, I think.
Well, what I really want to know is, do you think I could be an elf for a bit? That might be quite fun.
Well, you could ask as you say, the big man. We had a conversation.
I'm not sure your liver could cope with being an elf.
I think his liver would actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Might be quite nice if we could see an elf liver it up for a bit.
Well, you'd certainly be able to see more.
What are you all talking about?
Nothing, Gus.
I'll look over at Trelador.
Do you remember me?
What happened? Did you reorgs or something?
On the contrary, I feel like I may have got a promotion.
I think Riox may have given Cholador a choice this time.
It's very insightful of you.
Well, why did you choose wrong then?
I didn't choose wrong.
Look, you were a dwarf.
I was never a dwarf. I looked like a dwarf. I wasn't born a dwarf. I couldn't be a dwarf. I didn't know anything.
Sorry, does Cholador look more comfortable and happier than he did
Make an insight check.
and a few days before?
That seems like a high DC.
I was going to say roll at a disadvantage, given that we've never actually seen Trellador happy.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a low
Does he
bar.
look less grumpy?
Well, if the big boss man gave you a choice and this is what you chose, then it was a choice, wasn't it? Now, can we get you some breakfast? Would you like some nice fine meats and an ale, or can I try vegetable because you're an elf?
Give him a lettuce leaf.
Give him a lettuce leaf, yeah.
No, just because I'm an elf doesn't mean I eat like. Well, it does, but some of your food I wouldn't say like, but I have come to tolerate. So I will have an ale, a small one, and some meat.
Sybil walks
20
over
on the
and sort of
insight.
guides you to a seat and places a mug of breakfast ale. It's the same size as everybody else's mug, and a plate with some bacon and some bread. What did you get on your insight check, Melissa?
20.
20. I mean, he seems taller, and from his conversation, he seems roughly the same. Maybe a little more talkative, but then Trellador never was very talkative.
Well, I say trying something and finding that it doesn't quite fit you is better than never trying it at all.
Well, I feel like it was kind of forced on me, and I did it, for the group, because I'm all about the group and furthering our cause and all that. But when it comes down to it, it wasn't me. I didn't make a very good elf, but I made a worse dwarf, and I'm more, what's they call, better the Fiona,
So what are you going to be next then?
I don't know.
You could get a tail like mine.
I think I had a tail briefly.
Oh, wait, that's right, you did, but you lost it, didn't you? I was very clumsy.
Yes. Maybe you should ask to be something different.
I don't want to be something different. I'm a dwarf and I love
Why
it.
wouldn't you want to be so different? You're Gus.
But dwarves are the bestest.
Hey, Gus, do you remember that game we used to play when we were a kid? You'd fold over a piece of paper, and someone would draw some feet, and then you'd fold open a bit, and someone would draw some legs, and then you got to see what you ended up with at the end. We could do that with just Trellador.
We could.
Maybe you could ask to be a dragon. Friends would like that.
There you go.
Where is Florian's right now?
He
I
seemed
don't know.
quite.
Maybe he's out in the town making friends with people.
That would be very in character for him.
He seemed rather protective of the eggs, so I imagine he's gone back to make sure that they're secure.
Yeah, would I have seen him last night hanging around a bit longer than the others?
No, because you were watching the temple.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I didn't know if I'd have seen if he was near the
No,
temple, then
he
walked to.
disappeared fairly early on.
Yeah, pretty much grabbed a keg and some food and legged it.
And disappeared
so-
down.
Oh yeah,
into the-
yeah.
He made no secret of it, but he basically went round, got a basket full of food, 2 of those sort of Forstein kegs, and then essentially disappeared back into where we'd come from to go.
Yeah.
you assumed to go and see Dell.
Yeah, I think the only person that saw him or was in any way was Celeste.
Yeah.
I think everybody else was doing different things. So yeah, nobody's seen Ferenz since basically almost the start point of the celebrations last night.
If I might inquire, Trelador, I know this is a bit of a change of subject, but Florian seemed to have some echoes of his scar pains, and I was just wondering if anything like that had troubled you recently.
No, I don't believe so. I mean, I slept fairly well. I had quite a busy night, as you can probably
Of
tell.
course.
I
assumed if something, well, I would have hoped if something like that would have happened, you might have let us know.
Is he okay? Oh, Florian.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the, is he okay? And then it's that sudden realization. Oh, he is in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. He says he's fine.
Oh. Yeah, a lot more to get into, but maybe not over a family breakfast. However, if possible, Sybil, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Of course, my lovely. It's breakfast. We're all at the table. You say whatever you want to say.
I'm not exactly magical versed myself. I have no idea if you are either, but with your infinite wisdom, what you seem to have,
Well, I'm not as wise as some of them old ones, but you know, I've done my time.
I don't suppose, and I suppose this isn't just for Sybil, gang, but nobody knows of any spells or magic which can kind of subconsciously pair you with someone so you can see everything, do you?
Well, I don't know an awful lot about magic. See, I'm more of a kill it with an axe type of girl.
That's my mum.
Oi, quiet
Yeah.
you. Respect at the table.
Sorry, ma'am.
It's all right. Just joshing with you. Yorick. She sort of winks at you. You know this is a sign just to pour a glass of water over Gus.
Which I will do immediately.
Hey,
Well, Florian, I know of a scrying spell, which means you can sort of communicate or see things from quite a distance.
Well, yeah, I've heard of them, but this felt like I was like actually there. And I'll go into tell the detail of it, looking over towards Sybil just to make sure it's okay to like continue and do this over breakfast table.
She looks interested.
Yeah, so I'll fill the whole table, the whole group in of my dream / vision last night, also about the kobolds and what I saw, and just see if there was anything. Basically, I'm just seeing if anybody would know anything about potentially a spell like that.
When you mentioned the kobolds, Sybil goes, "Oh, nasty little fuckers they are. You don't want to mess with too many of them. They're all right one at a time, but when they swarm you, you see, and they're nasty little buggers."
And I think that they have an affiliation with the devil who has my sister and potentially mum now, because they were speaking a bit of broken infernal too.
Might I suggest that you might inquire with Ferenz and Dell? They might know more about these kind of creatures.
Yes, which brings me to my next point of order as such. I truly believe that it was Dakota and my mother last night. and they were quite sure, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Were they more talkative than you?
Yeah, they were quite imperative that it was done quickly. It seemed like that particular devil was nowhere near them. It was just the kobolds, and maybe if I can find out where they are, we can find out where they are. We might be able to save them.
Wow, kobolds, easy now. I can just turn on my spiritual forge and go run it in, and I'll be fine.
Do you think it's
Let's go.
safe for you to go?
If they're
It didn't seem like they were in the places where I've envisaged or dreamt of them before. It didn't seem like that they were in the hells anymore. It was definitely the fire wastes. North, to be exact. The vision kind of took me through there somewhere.
right,
He was burning up when he got to me. I took significant time to cool him back to a regular temperature.
You're just
Which
being a bit of a drama queen, to be honest.
does
but-
worry me somewhat, because that level of heat should have almost burned him up from the inside out.
it certainly informs which guard we might be dealing with.
Oh, Florian, you're one tough cookie, which is what happens when you overcook them.
As the party's resident occult expert,
Uh-huh.
which is very much an understatement, description of Florian's dream.
Yep.
Because he was asking about the magic being used
Uh-huh.
as like a potential contact between his mother and him. Does that seem like an infernal form of magic to me? As something potentially being fueled by devilish machinations?
Make. I don't know how you're going to do this because you don't know how it was done and you weren't there. Make a wisdom check, just straight up wisdom check.
If
Unless you can tell me what kind of check you're trying for.
I was angling for something like Arcana, because we're talking magic here, and I know a little bit about magic.
Okay.
But also my wisdom's +1 and my Arcana's +7.
Okay.
Yeah,
go
I
with
think-
Arcana check.
I
If
think
you're
I was just
specifically
gonna.
looking for the magic, not anything else.
Yeah, the magic. Is
Okay.
it devilish? It's a question. Not a great roll though. 14
14.
total.
From what Florian's described, the thing that sort of catches your attention most is what Celeste suggested, some sort of scry, which in its and of itself is not demonic or devilish or fiendish. So you don't, from what he described to you, you don't think it was devilish or fiendish at all. It sounds like certainly magic, probably high end,
Almost like a backward scry.
possibly almost like a sort of a transporting somebody to a location and then transporting them back.
I'm conflicted about all of this, Florian. We know full well it could be a trap. I can't think of any ways that what your mother would be doing would be, though.
At this
Doesn't
moment,
seem.
as this conversation is happening, a very familiar sound happens. The bell in the city square by the temple starts to go off.
Awful nice.
And Sybil looks up. Right, you know the drill. Temple, And that's where we'll take a little break.
Okay.
Okay, so break time. Go and grab a drink, have a chill, whatever you want to do. We'll be right back after these messages that we will do at some point soon. TM. And we're back. We hope you enjoyed your corporate overlords telling you what to buy. So, as we back in, the bell is ringing. Sybil organises you lot to get to the temple. It's a 20-minute run, 15 minutes if you're actually running.
Is it slightly shorter for us because we're taller and us have longer strides?
No. Yes, a little bit.
I mean, I think I walk double the amount anyone else can in this group.
This is
So
very true.
I think I'll probably be walking a bit strange because I'm trying to adapt to not be a
Longer
dwarf.
stride.
Yeah, I'm a bit off balance.
Yeah, it's taking you a bit to get your elf legs back.
It's like driving a new car.
So, as you walk up to this temple, Del walks up the stairs and starts to ring the bell, the same bell that got everybody here yesterday. You can start to see dwarves start to appear, looking for the emergency, and Del is still ringing the bell. And you can see your friends appear, and the rest of you see Ferenz stood at the top of these stairs on this platform that you were all on yesterday, and Del, in her dwarven form, is ringing the bell.
Yeah. Ferenzi's virtually vibrating at this point.
Yeah, Ferenz seems very excited by something. So, as you reach into the majority of the dwarves that you saw yesterday here, some nursing slightly more hangovers than others, Del stops ringing and goes to the edge of the platform. Well, I suppose you're wondering why I brought everybody here. Well, I've had a message that I need to talk to you about, and I think it's best if I do it in my true shape. And she expands into the emerald dragon that you seen before. The dwarves, there is a palpable shockwave going through dwarven kind at this very moment. What's everybody doing?
I'm going to subtly move. Timmy talking.
Okay, so we'll start with Miet. What are you doing?
Going to subtly move up towards the stage in a very, totally relaxed way and turn my back to her and face the crowd. So if anything kicks off, we can politely tell people that's a bad idea.
Okay. Trenador, what are you doing?
I'm just observing for the moment. I'll probably have the axe out just in case anything kicks off. But
Yorick?
Yeah, I'm going to get up on stage if it's close enough, or at least get some elevation, just to call out to the crowd. Don't worry, it's fine. We've met her. She's really nice. It's all right. Just trying to calm everyone down.
Okay. Gus?
I'm going to run right underneath their heads and start cheering and shouting and clapping.
Okay, cool. Melissa, what are you doing?
I'm just going to be kind of watching the crowd and like trying to make it seem like I'm visibly relaxing upon seeing Del's true form, as though this is normal and safe.
Okay, cool. Florian?
yeah, similar ilk to Miet and Melissa, but if Del will allow it, just to show the kindness, I'd like to kind of like walk up to her where her head is and just kind of like,
Well,
it's going to sound,
she is
I know she can be up,
very tall, so
Yeah,
you
but if
can't
she-
actually reach her head.
but if she bows it, I'll just try and sort of put a hand up there just to like touch, and it's as if just to say to the crowd like, look, again, this is like completely
Cool. Right.
safe.
Celeste?
I'll go up to, again, on the stage with Daryl and just put a hand on a leg or wing, whatever I can reach, and cast guidance to help her
Ooh, nice.
explain
Lovely.
what she needs to say.
Okay. And last but not least, Ferenz, what are you doing?
So he may have had an inkling of what was coming, so he would have stepped down a step and judged it to a nicety. So when she emerged into that form, he would be stood literally to her right hand, staff and shield in hand, but he would have divested himself of his cloak, so his armor would be fully on show. All of his iconography, everything on show.
Okay. Good stuff. Right. So, this emerald dragon appears in the middle of Daghold. Now, the last time that a dragon like this appeared in Daghold, it was the Big Sapphire who created destruction. The dwarves, naturally, start clamouring and reaching for armour. Del, you all hear this in your minds. In Dwarvish, Common, Furbolg, your native tongue. Draconic, okay. Your native tongue, it appears in your minds. I am Delamar. I've been living in your city as Del for many years. I love and respect Daghold. This is my home. I try my best to keep other dragons away for you. It's not always possible. But I hope today we can reach an accord. Because there awakens far, far to the west a dragon of immense age and size. They have commanded all dragons that they are to wake and to be peaceful with all peoples. This does come with a warning, however. This also means, with the return of dragons, the return of gods. Now I know the dwarves worship the mighty Ryorks, and indeed he was here, but yesterday in person. And I think you all heard him ask for the cessation of violence of the war between dwarves and dragons. And I hope you all can forgive me my deception. And she's going to roll a persuasion check, which I will do with
That's a D4.
a D4 for guidance. And I will give her advantage because Yorick has spoken on her behalf as well. And the rest of you are being calm and measured in your response. Well, as calm as friends can be.
Except Gus, who's still cheering.
Yeah. Well, that also gives me advantage. So
Yeah.
let's do that. So D20 and a D4.
The dwarves don't know what Gus is cheering for. Yes to the fighting or yes to the dragon?
Yes.
Okay, so as you can see,
Oh my.
I got a 19 plus a 1 on the D4, so a 20. Not an actual 20, but a 20. So you can see the reactions of the dwarves at first are horrified, and there's a sort of reach for weapons. But as she starts to speak, and as you guys don't, as the closest people to her, don't react in a hostile way, and her words get through, and the words of Ryorks echo in everybody's mind as well, about the beer turning to water. It's the important part. There's a sort of a relaxation. It's not totally fine and okay, but they are relaxing and allowing stuff to happen without the threat of impending violence. Apart from, in the crowd, there are 6 individuals dotted around the crowd who all raise a crossbow to fire at the dragon. So they're all really bad shots.
Are there any of them within 30 feet of me?
I'll say yes, there's at least 2.
Okay.
If those come up, I'll just shout, "Arrest those traitors!"
Okay, good to know.
I'll instinctively flinch and use my reaction to Blood Curse of the Eyeless one of them.
Oh, okay.
So they subtract 5 from their attack roll.
Okay. So only the 2 of them were going to hit. So you, Blood Curse of the Isle, is one of them. Does anybody else wish to do anything?
Yeah, if I can, if I can see one which is obviously, if it's hitting towards I am, I will try and use anything around to being quite acrobatic and everything, to jump up and catch that arrow myself and chuck it back at them.
So you're going to try and deflect missiles, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. How does that work again?
So that works when I get to it. 2 seconds. I know I've got it. How do I use it though? So yeah, so it's reaction to deflect or catch the missile when I am hit. But obviously, I'm using it in a different sense here.
Yeah, that's fine.
When you do so, the damage is taken. So I basically, I get to roll a d10 plus stuff, and if I reduce the damage to 0 and have a free hand, which I do,
Okay.
I can certainly catch it, or deflect it.
Right.
If I catch it, I can and reduce it to 0. I can throw it back.
Okay. So roll your d10. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I think I can basically catch it regardless.
Okay.
But it's if I reduce that damage by what my maximum is I can roll and what the damage is,
Okay.
I can then chuck it back at them.
Okay. Well, there's not a huge amount of damage incoming. It's 8 points of damage.
Okay, so I get to roll a d10 plus 13.
Oh, well, you're going to do it, aren't you?
Well.
Well, you can't fail.
Oh, yeah, I am. My plus 13. Yeah.
Okay, so you're more than welcome to throw it straight back.
Yeah, 100%, which I think... I have to use a key point, but I have to make a ranged attack, which... so let me just add the key point down, confirm. What is my ranged attack? Use my dart for it?
Yeah. Which would be a +7.
Yeah. Non-natural 20.
Awesome. Yeah, you hit. Roll some damage. Which is 1d8 plus your damage bonus, which is 3.
Five.
So 5 points of damage to this dwarf. Celeste, you're waggling at me.
I've got 60 feet on what I want to do, so I want to try and get the ones that are furthest away from me, and I want to cast Hold Person at 4th level to get 3 of them.
Sure, yeah, you could absolutely do that. What's that? A strength?
My ideas.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Okay. They are priests.
17.
That's a 16.
Held.
And a 14.
Held.
The 13.
Held.
There you go. So the 3 of them are all held. How describe for me the magic that you use? How does it manifest to hold them in place? Is it vines?
So it's almost
or
like
roots?
it's twinkles of starlight that come around and sort of almost cocoon them.
So
make them go.
That's those 3. One of them's got an arrow sticking out of him. The other one is...
Yeah. Friends would have moved at the same time as Celeste and cast the same thing to hold.
Okay.
Against the rest of them, and all you'd see is these sort of just bands of pure light attempt to sort of encircle them.
Okay, what's
So
the DC for that one?
18.
18, so that's 17. It's close. 9. Oh, for God's sake. 14. All 6 of them are held.
Yeah. So you just see sort of like the circle casing on Frenzy's staff
Yeah.
just pulse 6 times, and these sort of bands of light would just encircle the 3 of them and hold them in place.
Perfect. And Gus, as you shout, arrest these traitors, the dwarves nearest those that are held just pull weapons on them. And just look as these 6 dwarves are encased in light and starlight. What does somebody want to do? Anybody want to do anything?
Friends would then descend slowly and just speak very softly. Now, please take them into custody. Don't hurt them, because we're not about hurting people. We're meant to be trying to end a war here, aren't we? So take them into custody, and then we'll let Miss Dibble here. She can deal with them in the way that your council deals with them.
Yeah. Okay, you see Sybil goes, right then. Them 6, you know where the dungeons are. Go on, take them.
To be safe, you might want to bind their hands and gag them for now, so they can't cast.
What she said, do that. You see, dwarves are moving towards them to bind and gag them. They cannot move currently because they're. I'm assuming as soon as they are bound and gagged, you'll drop the spells.
Yeah.
It lasts a minute, so that gives them a minute to get everything sorted.
Yeah. So they frog march these 6 away from the square. Adele turns back into her dwarven form.
Yeah, friends would immediately turn round and go and start fussing. Are you okay? Did they hurt you?
No, I'm all right, friends. Thank you very much, all of you, for assisting in my revelation, as it were. And she turns around to Sybil. Says, I'm so sorry to have deceived all of you in this way, but I really, really like living here, so can I carry on? And Sybil looks at you lot and says, oh yeah, I don't see why not. It could be an honorary scale bean, couldn't you?
Shut the scales.
If anybody gives you any grief, you come and tell me, and I will batter them. All right?
You've disrupted Gus's dreams now. I mean, if she's already like a
Bouncer.
sister by
I was
law,
about-
then you can't
Yeah.
marry her in the family.
I was about to say to Gus, that means she's
No,
family.
it'll be fine, because then when we get married, she won't have to change her name.
Sybil overhears this. Goes, what? Fergus Scalebane, come here right now. What did you say?
I didn't say nothing, ma'am.
What was that about marriage?
Oh, it's just talking about one of the others.
Right, I see.
Please.
She sort of looks at Dell, looks back at you. Right, gotcha. Separate rooms, I think, for a while.
Can I assume
Yeah,
that the
what are you
6
talking about, mum?
that
And he'll sort of shuffle off going bright red.
can I assume that the 6 that shot were the 6 that Celeste clocked the
Oh,
previous
absolutely, yeah. The same 6.
It would probably please you to know they are the same ones that I noted from yesterday, so at least no more have joined their ranks.
Right, that's good, that.
I think we might well be having a word with them just to find out a bit more what they're
Yeah.
up to, if there's any more.
Certainly.
So,
Good plan.
Dale, do you think I should tell them what?
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. The command has come. I don't know if you felt that command or heard it.
Yes,
But it is-
well, it was.
To cease his hostilities. Well, every dragon should be doing that. Because, as you might know, the word of Shine is, well, whilst not an actual law, it sort of is. He's the oldest I can't tell you how old. I don't know. It's too far back. But legends have it, when he rises, there will come a time where gods and dragons are in the world once more. And there is said, as a rumour, I don't know if it's true, that dragons of colour will come. Not like, you know, like me, where I have colour, but I'm very shiny and sort of emeraldy, yeah? But things like red dragons and yellow,
So-
sort of all colours.
Would I recognise any of the stories of the chromatics from what? Yeah. Would I recognise any of the stories of the chromatics, or what would
Make
from
a history check
the,
for me. History or religion, up to you. Because it is kind of built into your
yeah,
religion.
go with religion. That's not too bad. 21.
21. Yeah, they're tied alongside the waking of the great crystal dragon, whose name nobody has known until now, is a return to gods in the world, a return to dragons, a return not just of the gem dragons, but of the chromatic dragons and the metallic dragons. There will come a time where all of these creatures, and not just the normal reds and blacks and yellows and brass and silver, but rumours of the yellow dragon. And it is a singular, the yellow dragon.
So everybody else around French would probably just see his eyes gloss over slightly, and he would begin to recite what he knows or what his people have known as prophecy.
Yeah.
For eons untold, and sort of he's sort of the fervor in his voice and the excitement is infectious. And then he'll just snap back into, and then sort of he's laser focused on Dale.
She just sort of looks at you with a sort of expression of, right, so you're one of them ones from the west, right?
Well, we've lived on the island and we've looked after Shine's temple and what we made into, because but the way it was is we had a very harmonious relationship with him. So we provided him with what he needed, which was a place to rest. We protected him, and he helped us by guiding certain people who were sensitive to him in, well, essentially what I'm doing now.
Indeed. Right. So you're like a sort of priest of dragons, if that makes sense.
Well,
is that what you mean?
Well, my power comes from Shine, from the Great One.
Right.
And so, and I suppose what we do is kind of worship him. So I suppose I am a priest of his, and he just sort of gestures to his attire.
Yeah.
And like I said, we lived in harmony, and these scales were not stolen. They were given freely, and we make tools, we make armor and things with them, and we're his people.
Right. Well, no, that makes sense, like, because, like, yeah, right, okay. It's really weird when legends come true, isn't it?
I know. And especially when I may or may not have had a direct hand in it, that's even more weird. And a little bit exciting and a little bit overwhelming. And oh shit, I'm going on a bit, aren't I? I'm sorry.
It's fine. I like it when you get excited. You're, how do you say, totally righteous.
It's so righteous, it is. And at this point, sort of Friends is literally in floods of tears.
She turns to all of you. Right, so you've heard what's happening. Every dragon in the world will be getting that message and waking up. But, like you said, unfortunately, that means the gods will also be able to pull back to this world.
Why do you say unfortunately?
Well, see, the problem was that ages and years ago there was a small there was a war between dragons and gods. And to keep the mortal races safe, and I include the elves in this, there was an accord that the war would stop and dragons and gods would leave this world to you. So we would not get involved, we would slumber. But there has been some weirdness happening. You know, we dragons are awake. And we thought it was only here in the Circle Mountains. But it seems like it's like all over now. And of course Riorx is here. So that means that others must be around too.
We've seen evidence of four of the gods. Riorx, Remora.
Well, you see,
Haladas.
Remora's a special exemption. Sorry, what was the other one?
Helloran.
Heladas, right?
And
Do not speak his name.
Oh, what are the bad ones then?
yeah, an unrelenting fog, if you will.
Right. I'd have to remember
Darkness.
my studies.
Do we still have the book?
Yeah, as far as I know. I don't know who's got it.
Who has the book?
Not me.
Don't tell me you lost the book.
Let's say I've got it.
You may or may, yeah. I'm going to say.
I certainly don't
Yeah,
have it.
We've not lost it.
I mean,
Out of
We
interest,
definitely.
technically it would have been, I would imagine, Yorick or Snow that took the book.
I'm just about to check Snow's inventory.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it would have been Yorick or Florian.
3 side quests while we go to retrieve the book.
It's not me.
I've got some fake tiefling horns with bells on.
Nice.
Oh God, horns with bells on.
Earlier trauma.
Yorick has the book.
Sorry?
Yorick has the book.
Yorick has the book. Okay.
No, Yorick has the book.
Right. Okay. Stick that in your inventory, Yorick. Write that down.
Because Snow had the book and gave it to Yorick
Should
for
we get that
safekeeping.
document out?
Gotcha. Right.
We found a book detail on them. The one at the bottom. At
Oh.
One
Oh, right. Oh,
the youngest.
he doesn't sound nice.
Yeah.
Right, so, like I said, this can be viewed as a bad thing if gods are once more connected to the realm of mortals.
As far as
Give me Delamar. I have heard a slightly different version of this war.
Right?
One where it wasn't the dragons versus the gods, it was the gods versus the devils. the hells, and it was the dragons who, by throwing in their weight with the gods, turned the tide of the war.
Well, some dragons, yeah.
That would make sense.
Some dragons were on both
Where
sides.
others.
But we don't really like to mention that because it was. Well, I suppose we should,
Well,
in an effort
I
to
th- I
be
th-
transparent, we should say that some dragons were on the side of the devils against the gods.
And I'm sure you've inferred from what you saw of Baidlin yesterday that the hells are definitely active.
Every
Yes.
family has a bad egg.
Well,
Or
that
bad
is true.
eggs.
There were. But anyway, the devils were banished. The gods and the dragons. There was a bit of. Well, conflict, shall we say? So the accord was struck.
Argy bargy.
Yeah. So now that the gods and the dragons are officially back, things will get very interesting. You know what they say? It's a curse to live in interesting times.
Yeah.
Who don't
Yeah.
remember any more details of the war than that.
I mean, this was before my time. So
Perhaps we could ask Shine when he gets here.
he would definitely know.
It's very
Celeste.
odd.
What's things like in Celeste's time? Are there gods and dragons? Is there a war?
There is no war. But there are gods, there are dragons. No gem dragons, as far as you know. Certainly in your part of the world, there are coloured dragons, red dragons.
If I
You've
may,
never heard of a yellow one, though.
if I may interject, where I am from, while there are dragons, there are no dragons similar to yourself, Dalamar. They are just red, blue, normal coloured ones. And there are also gods where I'm from, but they do not fight.
I would like to just interject something here. They are all normal coloured ones. There's no weird colours. They are what they are. I would like to just point that out and
My apologies. I meant no offence, simply to try and specify which dragons I was more familiar with, whereas the gem dragons and chromatic dragons are not around where I'm from that I am aware of.
No, it's just the gem dragons. Chromatic dragons, which are the
Okay.
coloured ones, and metallic dragons you've definitely heard of.
Okay. There aren't gem dragons where I am from. I don't know if that makes any difference, but...
Well, I do know. But, like I said, the legends say that all dragons of all colours will come.
oh,
Though I'm not familiar with a yellow dragon.
No, yeah, there is only one.
I've just had a bit of a thought. Didn't you see that moonstone dragon Lunario slept in the under the elven forest
yeah,
over yonder?
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that could be interesting.
yeah, that could be a problem.
She looks at you, Trevor. You were from the forest, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Things might be a little bit different over there now.
Do we have a map of Helloran?
Yeah?
As in our party having a map?
Yes, I believe young
Yes, we
Master
did.
Florian has
Florian
created
was
a map
on
with...
What do you mean?
Well, you see, Lunaria was, I believe, sleeping underneath the great forest of Drummond.
And if
I can share the picture of the map if you wish.
And if her waking up was anything like I saw what happened to my island when Shine woke up, there might be a few slightly more ruffled feathers than usual. And some people might be quite cross.
Dale, do you know of any other major resting locations?
I
Because
mean,
this may have caused
the
a
ones I
lot of
told
damage
you
too.
about, I don't think there's any more that I know about.
Either way, this is...
I mean, there's gonna be a bit of upheaval, I reckon.
Yeah. And
Mr.
if
Carry on.
if the dragons were more mercenary between the conflict, I look to Florian. We may have to move quicker than we thought. Because if she catches wind of this, she most certainly will, and some dragons come to her aid, we'll be in more trouble than we think.
Maybe you should inquire, Florian, with Dell and Ferenz, while we have them here.
Mr. Gus, with the sending of the message, I would counsel you to check in with Miss Bridris.
Oh, right, okay.
Because she may be able to tell you a bit more about how she feels about it.
Okay. I'll just turn to the crowd and say, right, I'm just going to ask a friend of mine to appear, so don't get worried. She's my baby. And then I'll call Bridris.
Okay, everybody finish looking at the map for now. I mean, it is
Yeah.
pinned, I think, in the channel as well. So
I was mostly using it as an aid to ask Delamere about other locations to see if there were any other undercities or settlements.
Yeah,
Right,
and just to
okay.
confirm, I
certainly want to
didn't have it written down, but I now have a feeling that when I met the cartographer in that village, he did give me one plus the other stuff so I could start drawing my own.
Yes.
Yeah, because I had a map of the journey so far in my inventory, but then I stopped doing that because I didn't want people to find out where we'd been.
That's fair.
But yeah, okay. So yes, I do have a map of Helloran.
Cool. And I think I've pinned one in the chat as well. If I haven't, I will do so.
Yeah, no, you did pin the map somewhere.
Thought I did.
Yeah. I also apologise.
Might be in general if it's not in Helloran.
I was going to say it might have happened before all the
Yeah.
campaigns got split into their own channels.
Yes, it did.
Okay. I will.
Hang on, I think I can forward the message.
Is
Right,
Helloran
let's do this.
still in her dragon form, or is she back in dwarf form?
She popped into dwarf form after we'd arrested the cretins.
Right. Del is back in dwarf form.
Right.
So, you summoning Bridris?
Yes.
Okay. Bridris appears. Bridris is visibly upset and scared.
What's that mean, Lee?
Mum, there was a thing that happened. There was a really scary bloke come in my head and just shouted at me.
What did he say?
He said I was to stop being a bad girl and start being nice to people, even the ones with horns, and I shouldn't be eating people anymore.
That's what I told you.
Yeah, but you said that I could eat the bad ones.
Yeah, but only when we're fighting them. You know, the ones that try and hurt us.
Oh, right, okay. He was very angry with me, and he's very, very old and very big, and he said,
Oh, right. I think that
I
might
think
be
he's going to
Cheyenne.
eat me.
He's not going to eat you. He's going to be our friend. But he's a really, really old dragon that like is
Yeah,
the
but I've
boss.
eaten, like, loads of people.
Well, don't do it anymore then.
But, like, a lot. My lair's, like, full of bones now. It's really cool, actually.
What did I tell you about eating people down there?
You said I could as long as they had horns and they were bad.
You couldn't. I said you shouldn't be going back there and you shouldn't be eating those people.
But it's my lair. I've got to have a lair.
Well, we'll find you another one.
Oh,
When we don't have
I
people
like
coming
that.
down,
I've decorated it with bones. It's really cool.
we'll find you a much nicer one. We'll put lots of shiny gems in there.
Well, did I take
He's
some
going
bones
through edgy
with me?
costumes.
Did Shine say anything else to you?
No, he just shouted at me. He was very mean.
Right, okay. Well, it's all right now. Look, all these friends, these are all my family and friends, and they're friends with us.
She looks around. Right. Oh. Looks at Dell. Hello.
And that's Delamar.
Yeah, I think we met before. She's
I
a
think
bit
you did.
bigger than me.
Just hearing Gus's head. That's Delamar, my fiance.
My precious. Right, so just stand there and look pretty for a little while so people can get used to you, because they've been a bit scared of dragons here.
Right. Okay.
Okay, because you are very pretty.
Well, obviously, because, like, you know, pretty, you know.
Yeah.
But so I can't. What am I going to eat though?
Oh, there's all sorts of other things like other animals and stuff.
Yeah, but I like the crunchy bits.
I'm sure we can find some animals with crunchy bits on them.
All right, fine. We won't eat people.
Good girl. And I'll turn to Ferenz and say, well, yeah, Shine's definitely been in contact with her. And she was very scared.
Right.
Oh, big stretch. Sorry, you have to say that's the law.
Yeah. So he wasn't very happy with her. Is that what you're saying?
No, apparently she's been eating things she shouldn't be eating.
Oh.
He told her she shouldn't do that anymore and she's got to be a good girl. Which is exactly what I told her, but she obviously ignored me.
Yeah, I can see why he might be a bit annoyed with that, especially considering what he told us and things like that. But it's fine. It's fine. It'll work itself out. Let's just that could be a bit of a mess.
I'll turn back to Bridris and say, look, we've got orders from all the big bosses to stop the war with the dragons, and so dragons and peoples can be friends like we are, right? And that won't happen if you go around eating people.
Yeah,
they'll get angry and they'll try and kill you.
See, that's why I was eating them, because they were all angry at me.
Well, they were angry at you because you ate their friends.
Yeah, but they were angry with me, so I ate them.
Yeah, and then the next lot will be even more angry because you ate their friends as well.
Yeah, but...
So you're the one that was making them angry. So if you didn't eat them, they wouldn't be angry, and you wouldn't have to go round in circles.
Oh, you're so... Oh, Mum. I don't get to have any fun anymore. You're so mean.
So fun. You can eat devils and demons and things like that. And what were those little things you saw? Cobbles. I don't know what they were called, but there'll be nice little snacks for you. Now, when we go and fight them, you can eat as many as you want.
Right.
Because they're
Are
evil.
we going there now? Because I am a little bit
Well,
hungry.
not now, but very soon.
Right, I am a little bit hungry. I could certainly have a snack.
Right. And I'll give her a little knuckle on the side of the head. Say, you're
I
a
have to
good girl.
reach up.
Oh yeah,
now.
she's getting bigger. Yeah.
Yes.
Yerp.
Can Bridris do what Delamer does with the, turning into a dwarf thing?
I don't know. Idris, can you turn into a dwarf?
No, what would I want to do that for?
Well, like Delamar there, she's turned into a dwarf.
Yeah, but she's
And
like a grown up.
Oh, right. Can you do that when you're grown up then?
Probably, I don't know.
All right. She can't. And she don't know if you're going to be able to.
Fair enough. I was just interested. Sorry.
Right.
It'd be quite cool though, wouldn't it, Idris?
Well,
If we could go somewhere and you look like a dwarf and you're walking along and suddenly you turn into a big black dragon and everyone goes, ah! You'd be like playing a good joke on people.
yeah,
You scare the crap out of Yorick.
that'd be great.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yes.
She looks at Yorick. Cocks her head to one side.
So Del,
Curse no till it is stop. That's
What?
so Del, I just got the feeling. So what's the next order of business? What?
Well,
Um,
the message has gone out to all the dragons, so they will. Well, as you see with your little friend here, the young one, they'll have been told to stop if they're being antisocial, so they can, start to make amends, make friends, and
do
become.
you think Serenicus is going to listen, or are we going to have to go and sort him out?
I don't know. I mean, he will have got the message, and it's very hard to resist a dragon of that age. I certainly.
But you,
couldn't.
yeah, but you said he wasn't particularly bright.
Yeah, but then the message would have changed depending on the dragon's energy, if you know what I mean. You see, your friend, the little one, she was scared because he was stern with her.
Yeah.
Because she
Whereas
thought
he
she
was quite
good.
nice to you, wasn't he?
He was lovely to me, which was good. But then I've got a kind of relationship with dwarves already, so that's probably why. A lot of the other dragons maybe getting a little bit more of a talking
to. Well, I
sorry. No, I just wanted to ask. Like, we met that Sapphire Dragon, and he wasn't nice to talk to, and he was very aggressive. And what if we're in this?
You keep breaking up, Martin.
Sorry.
I got. What if we're in this?
What if? Maybe I'll speak a bit my microphone a bit closer. There we go. See if that works better. Right. So, what if, like, we met this Sapphire Dragon and he was quite aggressive and much we can do? Yeah. What if we're in that sort of situation again, where there's a dragon that's just being very aggressive? What do we do? We fight it, but try to just.
I mean, you should definitely try talking first.
Well, of course we'll try.
And if Ferenz is with you, he may be able to convince them that Shine is, commanded them to not be aggressive.
Okay. Well, if you think it's not going to be a problem, or
I
who
mean,
knows? Right?
it shouldn't be, but there are always dragons that, will disobey. But
I just don't want to like be stuck in this.
You've gone again.
gone again.
What's going on? I just don't want to get stuck in this sort of situation. We need to fight for our lives, but start a war, restart a war process.
Well,
Well, I don't think it will be on an individual basis.
I don't think we can avoid some of the fight. I think we'd be very naive to believe that everybody's just going to toe the line and do as they're told. I mean, look at them 6 in the crowd
Well,
earlier,
exactly.
and I mean, there's going to be the equivalent among the dragons, and I think this Serenicus fella is going to probably be one of them. But all we can do is try and reason with him, and if that doesn't work, well,
So,
yeah.
Well, remember, Yorick, what our mums told us? They said, if someone's
always drink your breakfast beer.
well, yeah, as well as that, but they said if someone's being aggressive with you, try and talk to them. If they don't respond and still being aggressive, then kick the fuck out of them.
Yeah, right. Same rules apply, I suppose.
Yep, I think so.
Well, I mean, I gave him a bit of a telling off during our last encounter, and I told him that people were friends, not food.
I believe if we show that we have good intentions and we are trying to do things peacefully and amicably, it's not always going to work out. But if we try, then at least we can say that we tried.
That's admirable, but with some of these dragons, they will take that as a sign of weakness. Potentially.
We have to give them all the option to be peaceful.
Be peaceful or we'll kick the fuck out of you.
I mean, I kind of agree with Yorick there. We offer the peace olive branch, but we have to be firm and we have to be strong and with it. We don't just go sort of, limp-wristed in and go, oh, hello, I want to be friends, because we're going to get stomped on.
Of course.
So what's our next plan? Who's the friends? Who's the dragon that is that the one that is under the elven forest?
Well, so I had a conversation with Del, and she mentioned that there was rumors of a crystal dragon named Shine. So when after you'd done your thing and we'd made the dwarves understand that this is what needs to be done, we need to end the war, yada yada, I spoke to him, and as an afterthought, I went, so I've been talking to Del, and Del said that you might be named Shine. Is that right? And then he responded to me as in shine, shine, rise and shine. And then last night I had a dream where he emerged from the mountain, but he was trying to do it slowly and in a way so as not to hurt the rest of my people.
Yeah, that takes ages to get up as well.
So I may or may not have had a hand in waking up Shine that would have then woken up the Moonstone, the Moonstone Drake Lunaria, who's sleeping under Drummond Forest. So,
right.
as it stands, so sorry, what was that?
Is that good or a bad thing?
Well, apparently, according to what Dell said, she was meant to be one of the nicer we could perhaps reason with. So, I would probably see that as a good, or at least good adjacent type thing, because she will also have received Shine's message.
I think we need to go there because there's loads of dwarves there as well, isn't there? That's where we took all the refugees.
Well, yeah,
but we do have quite an important thing to do for our friend Florian. Florian, you were also having a dream. Lots of people having dreams.
People so righteous.
Some people speaking with faraway people. Some people getting bigger in dreams. I don't know. It's all weird.
I had a dream last night.
Did you?
Yeah,
Were you a
I dreamt that beer that I'm making in Miette's wagon is the best beer that's ever been made in the history of dwarf kind.
Well, that would be quite good.
If we ever
If you
get
could-
back there, it'll be fun drinking it.
If you could serve some little sausage rolls with it as well, that
What, you want to roll a sausage down the hill?
I might make a suggestion. So we head back over to the forest way. We make sure everyone's okay over there, and then we skirt along and go north.
Florian.
I mean, I'm happy to do either way, but I think,
I think as of right now that our people are safe in elf country, especially as like sort of stopped his tracks right and the way they are. But Florian, your sister's in danger. Is that what we need to prioritize next?
She has been for some while, and it just
Oh, it's fine then. We'll leave her.
feels to me like this is potentially the one of the best opportunities if the she-devil is not with her, and that they're actually on this plane and not in any of the hells, but in a really hot place with the kobolds.
Didn't you say, though, that if you were her in the same room, the world would end?
Only if the she-devil was in there. We know they need my blood. How much, I don't know, and I do not need to be alive for it, but
She's certainly planning on abusing the connection of twins.
the longer my sister and now apparent mother are there, I think the more they'll hurt my sister, the more Chelador in his chest will become more of a worry.
Maybe you should stay here then, where it's safe, and we'll go off and find her.
Yeah.
Would you have said that if we tried to come to Daghold ourselves and stop this?
I do have
Right.
concerns about you going.
Miss Dell,
Yeah.
I know that I've imposed on you quite a bit in the last few days, and I really feel bad about it, but with the eggs in the state they're in now, would you possibly be able to go and maybe speak, or at least see if Lunaria is awake, while we head north and make sure that...
I mean, yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, at least that would alleviate one of our problems in the short term,
Yeah,
so
well,
we
once,
could go
once
and...
I get out of Daghold, I could just fly over there.
I'm with you. With Bridgers. Be a good lesson for her.
Oh, I could take Bridges with me if you want.
Well, not without me.
Well, I thought you
Well-
were going with your friends.
well,
Is that not what
Gus,
happened?
you could get Bridgers to learn from an older dragon and give her some time to learn from an older dragon while we go and do what we need. Mr. Yorick, would that suit your purpose if we asked Miss Dell to go and check on Lunari, the elves and your people over there?
Yeah, that would be fine. That'd be good.
Right.
Yeah, it'd just be good to know that they're okay. But I think they're probably okay. The war's
They're-
ended.
Yeah,
Dragons should be behaving themselves. The elves
I'm
are
sure-
good. They'll look after them.
yeah, it's just I want to make sure that like I'm all in for dragons and I like dragons, but I know that there's always the sometimes they just need a nudge in the right direction. And I think that maybe, yeah. But I'm happy to do anything. It's just that I want to help people and I'm here to help.
Anyone else want to weigh in on what we're doing next?
Madame Miette?
I don't have much of an opinion. I will go along. I can't guide us into the fireways. We've never gone that way before. So So I will do what I can.
We don't do this very often. Mr. Florian, have
Yeah,
you got something that belongs to your sister?
I don't think so.
Right. Well, you said you're a twin, right?
Yeah?
Well, you've got me an idea. Come
Be
here.
very careful, Ferrans. Any sense of hellish magic, I want you to cut that off immediately.
Yeah.
We don't know when she could be
What are
watching.
you gonna try and do, friends?
Well, I might be able to have a sneak peek. But I'm going to use you as the conduit because I suppose in the absence of having something that belongs to your sister, I mean, I've got the next best thing. I've got a carbon copy, really.
They did share a room once.
Why
So,
the
I mean-
fuck would you have to say it like that, Nat? Jesus Christ.
If the rest of you are amenable, I can try to scry for his sister, if you think that would be useful.
I mean, I think it would be useful to see if you can see any of the surroundings, just to see if we know, can gleam inside and where they actually are, apart from north and in the far wastes. Is there anything else that could help, though? Like, is it just me, or?
I mean, I would need... the more I
Might it
know
be-
first, the more I know about the person, the likeness, anything. I haven't met her firsthand, so this isn't maybe going to be as effective as it maybe
Mightn't
would.
it be a better option to scry for your mother, Florian? She would be under less scrutiny.
Maybe you can draw him a picture, then he'll know
And
what she
you're-
looks like.
Definitely a possession of your mother.
I mean, either way, yeah. I mean, and I was gonna suggest, like Gus just did, I can draw you a picture of whomever.
And just as an aside for this, for the DM, because it usually takes a focus worth at least like a crystal ball, silver mirror worth at least 1,000. Could I use crown off my staff as a because it? Okay, so you'll just see sort of friends just twist the top off his staff slightly.
Who are we gonna do this on then? My mother, who I appear to be possession of, or my sister?
Well,
You know what I mean, Florian.
we don't know. I mean, me personally, I would probably say that it's probably going to be easier to connect with your sister because, I mean, like, that was quite uncomfortable, Mr. Les, but you did make a good point. You did share a wound together, and at one point or another, you were connected, and still are, it would seem. So,
Okay, the easiest option is that. The safest option would be my mother, right?
The connection is dangerous.
well, I'm happy to do either way. I'm just throwing out an idea because you guys are saying it's north, but we don't exactly know where. So I'm trying to see if we can get a bit more of a pinpoint fix for you.
Yeah, let me just overlook my player.
I was doing an examination of Florian when he came to see me this morning. From what I can tell of his scar, it doesn't seem to have any demonic magic associated with it anymore. It's just a healing wound. I do believe that the connection is between Trelador and Dakota, but because of the twin link, I don't believe that he will ever be completely free from its effects.
But if it's a scar, I would probably say that it wouldn't be a wound anymore because it's got to heal to become a scar. But that's besides the point, I think. Sorry.
So just to clarify, I mean, obviously I care about my own well-being. Am I in any danger? And I suppose is Florian in any danger if we do this?
I suppose.
As I have a link with Dakota as well.
Dakota's said at a length that I'm concerned for.
You
Which
know what
is
she said about me. That's good to know.
Well, if something were to happen to Dakota, we can presume that something may happen to you, so it's almost a damned if we do, damned if we don't
Well,
kind
let's
of
just do it
situation.
and see what happens.
I'm more inclined though to try with from my mother's perspective first, as Melissa does point out. It's not exactly, as far as we know, entangled with the devil, and would be safer for potentially everyone, and especially for Friends.
I just want to make sure that you are sure that what you saw last night was indeed your sister and your mother.
I, I did it, me. I definitely checked, and they appear to be my sister and my mother. And like Yark said at breakfast, kind of like us. It seemed like it was an Annie scry, so I could see them. Almost as just to put my mind at ease, to know it was them and not anything else. That is the vibe I got, right, DM?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I will spend not however long it takes, but I'm good with a pen and paper, and obviously drawing maps and that at the minute. So doing a picture of my mother first.
Yeah.
May I assist you in this?
Friends,
Guidance.
Friends would sit opposite Florian as he does this and ask him to, as he's drawing and doing what he's doing, to verbalise how she looks, the shade of her hair, the shape of her face.
Yeah.
Okay, and who are we describing first? Your mother.
My mother.
Okay.
Yeah. This.
Now, what I will say is, it was some time ago.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
All right, okay. Go ahead.
I was literally about to say, like, it's been it's been pretty much a decade since I've seen either of them, and the vision or dream, whatever it was last night, wasn't exactly the clearest. So no new details can be put on. But it's the best I can do for either of them.
That's fine. Just as much detail as you can, because the more I can visualise, the easiest this is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Florian, give me a. It's going to be. I want to say a performance check for doing this drawing. Now you have guidance.
Yeah, the guy
Draw me
just.
like one of your French girls.
Yeah, the
And
guy's just going to help me. I've only got +1 for performance.
Would me talking it through with him and asking him to verbalise everything assist in that picture?
Yeah, why not? I'll say you could have advantage of it as well.
Really glad you said that, because that first roll was atrocious. Oh, fuck me. Natural 9 for the first roll, and then a natural 20 for the second roll.
Wow. Okay. So.
So that's a +1 for the performance.
Yeah.
And that is, how is that cocked literally in between 2 die? That's mental.
You chose to cock a D4. Was it just upside down on the point?
No, it literally, it kind of went like that in between 2 dice.
Well, you've got to honour the cock, as somebody once told me.
So yeah, so 23 with a natural 20.
23 with a natural 20. Okay, so you produce a pretty accurate drawing. Your cartography skills obviously translating quite well to sketching. And as you're verbalising your memory and from what you saw last night, the visage of your mother takes shape. And for Eds, I'll say that this is For the saving throw, this is a likeness of the person you are trying to scry on.
Nice. So okay. So having that happen, friends would lay, because there's of all the crystal through the staff, he would lay it across his lap on the floor in between them, and he would sort of pull Florian into place so their knees were touching, and then he would extend his hand underneath and sort of get Florian to lock fingers with him underneath the orb of the crystal.
Okay.
And then he would instruct him to put his hand around the one side. So essentially they're joined hands underneath, and they have a single hand each on each side of this large crystal.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he,
So you're going to cast scry, yeah?
yes.
Okay. So. Three. What's your DC?
18.
18. So I have.
What the rest of the people would see is slowly the
16. So you concentrate on the description you've just heard, the picture, and touching Florian's hand is part also important. You see the fire wastes as you rush through, the flames shooting up. She's under my desk. You see a building, strange, jagged, moving constantly, maybe? Is it on fire? No, possibly. Don't know. You shoot in through a doorway, through some strange passageways, and you end up in a room that's decorated with flames. And there you see a woman, sort of mid-40s, brown hair.
We're going to watch me play for a minute.
Looks a bit like Florian.
1.9%.
Certainly seems to be the person that Florian has described. She is pacing up and down. She looks worried.
Is there any other sort of delineating factors or any symbology around that I could take note of? Just flames.
Flames everywhere. Flames. Floor, wall, ceilings. There's a
So-
large open pit that's just got a roaring, strangely chaotic fire in it.
Yeah, that's what was going to be my next question. Given my relation with light, with flame, with what he would term as the purity of flame, does this fire feel off, wrong, twisted,
It
warped
doesn't
in
look good to you. This is not a
black
fire.
edged?
This is not a fire as you would create a normal fire with a bonfire or a fireball or anything else. It's strange. It seems to want to consume and twists in strange ways. The flames sort of waver and shift, almost as if they're sort of moving around.
And is there any sound or is there anything sort of audible that you can pick up?
I don't think you can hear things with a scry spell.
You can see and hear a particular
Oh,
creature
you
you
can.
choose.
Yeah, so you can see and hear the creature.
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
Not the greatest roll, but I do have a good bonus. 20.
20. She's muttering under her breath. He's got to come. He's got to come. He's got to come.
And does she seem manic or
She seems really worried, upset.
yeah? Or is there any sort of is she under the influence of anything?
Make an insight check.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
A fiddy question.
Of course. I always like a viddy question.
So, this certainly has never been done to Florian before. Do I see any of this as being a human conduit for this scrying spell?
Now, the
Almost like he was looking over my shoulder.
the scry spell reveals information to the caster.
Yeah.
Not. It doesn't specifically say it that anybody can see it. So let me leave it up to the dice. You can see flashes of what Friend sees. Not the full picture, just flashes of whatever Friends is focusing on. So you see little bits of it.
Do I hear any flashes or just visual?
You don't hear, it's just visual.
Okay. So any flashes from of my mother, of the pacing or anything, can I glean any insight off of that to make sure that again that once it is my mother?
Certainly try.
Yeah. Obviously I get that the DC is going to be higher because it's just flashes and that. But
So what's your
yeah.
insight?
25.
Oh, you were looking for.
So I wanted to see if there was sort of anything slightly off about whether she was being influenced by something or whether this was genuine or whether she was sort of,
Okay. With a 25, yeah, she seems genuinely worried. But there is this little spark of hope there.
Yeah.
Because she thinks she contacted Florian. She hopes that it's working and he will come to rescue Dakota.
Yeah. So I will spend the next couple of minutes just trying to gather as much information as I can and obviously trying to order everything that I've seen.
No.
And obviously what everybody else would see is kind of like bursts and rings of light just expand out and just keep coming up from the crystal and expand out, and there's like an opalescent dome around the two of them.
Okay, cool, nice, like that. So your insight check.
Yeah, I was a natural 19, so 26.
26.
Nice.
This is definitely your mother.
Cool.
She seems,
Yeah.
as I say, worried but hopeful.
Yeah, no, that's good. I was just, I mean, luckily we both rolled pretty good for the insight, so I was just thinking, oh, this could be a massive ruse to like,
I mean, it could have been
more looking desperate. Do you know what I mean? More looking desperate rather than worried and hopeful.
So as the spell ends, the light would absorb back into the crystal itself, and there'd be sort of just a lingering, and Florian would see Ferenc just lock eyes with him, and as you see the light fade away, and you'll see Ferenc's bright green eyes come back. Did you get that?
I mean, I don't know if that's how it usually works, but just flashes for me.
Well, that's not how it usually works at all. That's quite interesting. I've never done that before. That was quite an experience. So we found her. I think I might have a good sense of direction as to where we're going, but it feels like that building might be moving.
I don't think I saw that, but that has just kind of reminded me, though. And another question for you, DM. Harry said it might be moving and describes it. A similar ilk to the hooded figure I saw coming from the forest back to Daghold.
I mean,
If you remember that.
That direction.
Does it feel like that could have been my mother doing that? Or was that, I couldn't remember if the feeling was a good feeling or that I just saw this hooded, shimmering figure in the fireways.
Interesting.
Well,
yes, it wasn't.
I only ask, so my way of thinking of this is the last time we done this, it was very much all dread and end of the world for Florian anyway. So thought the worst. With this new information that my mother is there,
I mean,
I'm
you can
trying to
certainly
see
try
if
and
that.
reinterpret that information.
Well,
Give me
yeah.
a.
So she was
Yes.
repeating his.
Straight intelligence check.
So she was kept repeating, "He's got to come. He's got to come." She was pacing. She was worried, but it was genuine worry. She didn't seem to be under control of anything, and it was a genuine spark of hope that she'd contacted Florian and he was on his way. So I don't know if that helps you guys or anything, but I hope it does.
I can confirm as well. The glimpses I did see, it was most definitely my mother. It wasn't a ruse or anything. And 14 on that intelligence.
14. Thinking back, it could have been. You're not totally sure, but knowing what you know now and having experienced that, both these type of scrying type spells, it could have been.
Yeah.
But that being said, the fire there had a strange quality to it. I don't know if, Miss Melissa, if I said to you the fire was consuming, would that mean anything to you?
Does that sound hellish, or does that sound more like a mash is having a field day?
Could be either, to be honest.
I know what I believe flame to be. You know, there's a purity in flame. There's, you know, the land can be renewed by flame, and you know, we return our dead to our ancestors with flame.
It doesn't. The description doesn't immediately strike me as hellish, but we do know of a god of fire who. Hang on. Can I have another look at that book?
Would they be a nice, you know, a nice god? Maybe quite stable, like, you know,
Hang on,
Mr. Yorick's.
Amash, Lady of Fire, since she went to play in the Hells.
Right, so maybe
I will
not.
just add a slight DM note to that. The twin of the Lord of the Waters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peladas.
She's a twin to Peladas, who is just a little bit mad.
Berkey?
Well, you've mentioned him a couple of times. What's the sketch there? Because I know you had a companion who was...
Basically, we found a temple whilst sailing south, across the big lake to the east, and
where that is. Sorry.
I'll show the map later. We kind of ended up traveling down and found ourselves in this strange prison that he'd been encased in. The god of the water's unable to quite reach the ocean around him. He was a bit a little crazy to begin with, but as things went on and we got released, he was very clearly insane.
Well,
but in order to get out of there, we had to leave through the Hells.
Right. That sounds quite...
We've been on quite an adventure, and he's now got a growing following in the through the Tabaxi.
I would probably say that being, you know, if I locked you or any one of you up for however long he was locked up, a being of that power might go a bit cuckoo. But if you're seeing these amassing his followers again, it might be that, you know, he can get enough power to put his brain back together.
I don't know. The second one we met seemed just as doolally as he was. Doolally is such a good word for this accent. Sorry. Do lally.
Completely, but this also makes me worry about Trelador going into there. Every time I hit anywhere near the hills or anything with the scar. What is that noise? Is that you, Dan?
Oh, it might be the kettle. Sorry.
It was quite painful and almost incapacitated me. So we'll have to be careful of that.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I mean,
we've seen it affect him in the fire wastes before. But
well, I mean, the way I sees it is that I suppose as a group you've got two choices. I mean, I'm here to help, so I want to help you as much as I can, and you know, I've tried to do that with dragons and sharing my knowledge and things like that, because that's what I was sent here to do. But the way I sees it is that you've got two choices. You want to go after Mr. Florian's mum and sister, and you want to save them. So to do that, you've got to risk a little to gain a lot. And you know what? That scarf that Mr. Trelador is carrying, he's doing a mighty fine job of it. He's a good chap.
I'm glad someone recognised how, you know.
I mean, you can be a bit
There
arrogant,
he is.
and you seem to not be able to take a compliment without being, you
feels
know.
nice to have you.
I don't whine as much
Yeah,
as Florian did about it.
But I digress. You are a nice chap, and you are a really good person for taking that on for your friend.
I know.
And you know, despite all of your aloofness, I think that deep down you really like these people. You wouldn't still be here. Now, the way I see it is you've got two choices. So you can risk a little and gain a lot, possibly get Miss Sister Mum back. We can keep talking about this and you know, we'll lose our opportunity. So I think that we need to make a move today. We need to shelve this, and whatever happens, happens. But like I said, I am here to help.
Despite my reservations, I feel confident that we could handle it.
And on that note,
We're
we will end.
strong.
On the vote of confidence from Melissa, we will end it there. So,
Melissa, confident? For real?
Exactly.
Nah, I can't be. She must be a devil. Kill her!
imposter!
It's just a devil.
So, that
Oh, I
was
should add that to the playlist.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all very much for playing. That was really good. I enjoyed that. Heavy on the lore dump, and yeah, I think possibly some errors on my part, but I will clear those up with the person that needs the errors clearing up. So, yes, that was brilliant. Well done, everyone. That was so cool.
And thank you. Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Miss
Good job.
Are we doing conspiracy theories? Are we?
Yes, please.
Yes, absolutely. We will do.
I'd be very
conspiracy
surprised if this
theories.
is not anyone else's mind. But yeah, Florian's mum and or his sister is definitely Fiona.
Okay.
I'm
She's
swinging.
tried sending mobs. She's tried brute force. That hasn't worked. Now she's going with the desperate of, I'll turn back into my human form as his mother and convince him to come.
I am kind of more tangential to that his mum's basically a Mash's high priest.
Or that. Yeah, because that's the other question. The whole thing of like if Florian almost died from heat stroke just from seeing the place,
Well,
how
we were
are
also,
his mother and sister just
yeah.
chilling out there?
we were also told that Amash's temple is potentially in the fire wastes. Potentially.
Oh no.
Many conspiracy.
Awesome. Anybody else
Maybe
want to chime in on
Laura-
conspiracy?
Maybe Florian's actually a demon in disguise, trying to get us all in there to kill us.
Demon,
But it's-
excellent. That'd be really helpful for the devils.
Can we not, please? Can I not, please, have another character where
Devil
everybody else turns around and goes spy?
He's a
Please.
devil in disguise. Oh,
He's
yes,
a
he
devil.
is. A devil in disguise.
I will. So I'll chime in a little bit. So I err on the side of that is definitely my mother and sister. It's my mother who more reservations about, like Ash just said. Are they in with Fiona? I don't know. Everything I know so far from backstory and going on, I don't think so. But is that just Florian being a little bit too naive with everything going on and wanting to save his sister? But yes, definitely food for thought.
And if Florian is a devil, then yeah, his sister and mother will be devils too, won't they? So it's definitely them.
But I can't be a devil because I was burning up just from a dream/vision.
Could have been just a ploy.
That means Melissa's in on it too, because she'd have spotted it if Florian was.
Maybe she is. I mean, she did have a pact with the devil, didn't she? She didn't work with Fiona.
I will point out that Melissa's pact came from her relationship with Vale and was very unintentional.
That's still there, though. It could all be another ploy, another story.
I am working on that detail. It's slow progress.
I love conspiracy beard time.
I have a wild conspiracy on Florian's mother.
Oh, go on then.
On.
Florian's mother is a dragon. Because not only has Florian not seen her in a very long time, and not only are Florian and Dakota notably very powerful twins in how they're connected, but Florian recalled stories of Ardiak told to him by his mother. How would she know about Ardiak if this world has been godless for so many years? If she was not old enough to have been there for that war? Because Dell was very freaked out about us mentioning, yeah, he's still about. The one that we can't say the name of, and she's like, oh shit, that one.
It's because he's a devil. And she's a devil. They're all devils.
James, you're
Devils
gut
all the
is
way
showing.
down.
His mother is
if she
Remora.
If she was a devil, I think Ferenz and Florian would have picked up on that through the scry.
Yeah.
I think she is a dragon who is currently having to work alongside Fiona and Amash purely for the safety of her daughter.
But that means Florian's a half dragon.
Possibly. Don't know
so surely
for certain.
Dell or Bridris would have picked that up in some way.
If only there was a subclass for that.
Unless it's being suppressed. We can't say for certain. It's a very odd.
So who's going to be next to be a half dragon? It was me last time.
It was me
We
the
did
first
just have
time.
a green dragon tell us that the gods are coming back, like we weren't already very aware of that.
Yeah.
Also, the yellow dragon.
Back, you don't say.
What was the yellow dragon called? I can't remember.
I don't remember her name, but yeah.
There was a yellow dragon?
Yeah, to fill you in, Debbie, last campaign.
Oh, it's the last campaign thing.
Yeah, last campaign, I think we got sent through time.
Yeah.
And we ended up meeting a yellow dragon who took us back. And there was also, I believe, when we went through the Well of Many Worlds, I think there
I
was
vaguely
one
remember
area
that.
that was very similar to that.
No, you're not.
Also,
The yellow
But yeah.
dragon is called Garella. She, just to fill people in for lore-wise, she is the dragon custodian of time. She can and has changed time.
So Chromie then, basically.
Yeah, kind of. But there is only one yellow dragon.
yes. but she is eternal and across all time. So
Yeah.
Bit of a coward, though, isn't she?
In what way?
Because she's yellow.
Where the door is just erased from time.
but yeah,
Brilliant.
no, there's lots of things clicking together. We should probably ask these dwarves if they've got some potions of fire resistance before we
Yeah.
go to the
Oh yeah.
fire flame
I would
waste.
agree with that.
I'm also highly
Right, I would-
suspicious of. I'm also highly suspicious of. Dragons are reawakening, with reds being at the top of the list, and we're going to a desert of fire.
Be fine.
I'm sure that can't possibly have any bearing on what we're about to do.
It's
Oh, absolutely
definitely.
not.
The DM wouldn't use him for a third campaign in a row, would he?
No. This time we're going to meet a dragon called Inaskara.
What? This one?
This one.
Scorch.
Although I think the big brain play would be not to bring Scorch back, but to bring Falameria back and throw us all through a loop.
Or bring Bob back.
Bob's the big bad.
Yeah.
You can't bring Bob back because he never left. He's always in our hearts.
Well, no, Bob was undead, so Bob is.
He was already dead.
Yeah, that's an extra problem on top of everything else going on at the moment. That's still.
And
I'm just going to say,
I am
Friends is along for the ride, and he is here for this.
I am so intrigued as to what would potentially happen in a one-shot involving an Iskara and Yoritish.
Yes.
That would be setting up the history of this.
Interesting.
The children of Scorch.
As it is getting quite late,
Yeah.
and
To
we
go to
have
bed.
a puppy that needs to be entertained and work in the morning, etc. So,
Yes.
again, thank you all very much for playing. It was wonderful. I've really enjoyed it, and I especially enjoyed the conspiracy earbeard theories. They were brilliant. Got some new ideas. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll be back here on Sunday for the investigators. They're investigating things. I'm sure that will be fine. Won't be any problems whatsoever. We will also be here next Tuesday for the Search Daghold for Fire Resistance Potions episode. So, yeah, we will see you all then. If you liked it, you're fantastic. We absolutely adore you. You're one of the best people we've ever met. If you didn't like it, however, well, off you fuck. See you soon.